Hello, this is Premraj Sharma, lecturing in English Diet Solon. To me, evaluation in terms of continuous and comprehensive evaluation seems to be the panacea of all the odds that are being faced through the process of traditional examination, which gives importance to written examination instead of the objective evaluation of acquisition of the four skills. Oral tests hardly get a place in our examination system, and thus present method of testing don't cover the entire syllabus. Just the power of memorization of the student is tested through them. At the other end, they are unreliable because the different examiner may reward different marks for the same paper written by the student. So it is the need of the hour to make evaluation an integral part of the whole teaching learning process. At the same time, testing should be comprehensive so that all the three domains for all the development of the learner in both the scholastic and the non-scholastic area are totally covered. As we know that the purpose of education is all-round development of the child, so effectively planned evaluation can promote learning, build confidence, and develop our students' understanding of themselves as active learners. The introduction of continuous and comprehensive evaluation is considered as one of the major steps in this regard to improve and strengthen the quality of learner evaluation. Till early 21st century, the basic emphasis remained on evaluation of scholastic domain, but as of now, the emphasis is on the total all-round development of the student. Thus, all aspects of learner, that is physical, social, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, etc. need to be assessed. In English language teaching, the teacher is supposed to work especially on first three skills, that is listening, speaking and reading, so that students at government schools can compete with their counterpart in public schools at communication level effectively. And this can be achieved easily by the application of various tools and techniques available in formative and summative assessment on a regular basis, at short intervals, and at the end of the term assessment honestly. And moreover, the teacher can get as a guide and facilitator by providing constructive feedback to make learner move forward confidently and boldly.
Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about continuous and comprehensive evaluation, its tools and techniques. So first of all, let's define what is continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Continuous evaluation enables the teacher in knowing about their effects, and thus they improve. Learners also come to know about their shortcomings and weaknesses, which may be remedied out, thereby regularity in assessment. And then comprehensive evaluation is comprehensive in the sense that overall personality of the child is assessed, as all the four skills of language learning are evaluated, and hence comprehensive evaluation. So let's check out the continuous and comprehensive evaluation as a whole. The Secondary Education Commission quotes thus: the school of today concerns itself not only with the intellectual pursuits but also with the emotional and social development of the child, his physical and mental health, his school adjustment, and other equally important aspects of his life, in a word, with the all-round development of his personality. So the basic emphasis in the today's scenario that we are supposed to impart the education to the students, that his overall personality is developed, and especially in case of the language concern. So the mastery of all the four skills, that is LSRW, supposed to be completely evaluated. In evaluation about the English language, that what sort of improvement supposed to be there in our schools, that the sort of education that we impart should be objective based, mastery of structure supposed to be there, and then we're supposed to set up the definite questions, and then this evaluation supposed to be continuous, and then the sort of teachings that we do in school is supposed to cover all the areas, means that is the textual as well as the grammatical part, and then combination of all the types of question supposed to be theirs, that is just to evaluate not only the essay type question but also the objective and short answer type question supposed to be theirs. So let's discuss about first that the objective based objectives of teaching English supposed to be framed in the light of overall environment of the child, and especially testing of speech should be given due significance, and then tests should be arranged for testing listening comprehension and speaking ability. Okay, so that is overall personality supposed to be evolved out in teaching about the English language. Then the mastery of structures, well, the question aids at testing of the students the mastery of structures and vocabulary item taught to them instead of just having knowledge of memorized responses. So this is supposed to be mandatory, that we're supposed to master them, how to construct the sentences, and likewise they can use the same within their communications. Interactive speech. Well, the next one is definite question. So the question is supposed to be definitive and no ambiguity in the questions, that the students could understand what the teacher is actually asking within the question. And then as a type question, the appropriate length of the answer is supposed to be mentioned. Well, the next one is continuous. Evaluation should be continuous. Continuous in the sense that we just teach something and then our students giving tests. Okay, after finishing the units, we're supposed to have the tests, so that the sort of drawbacks, okay, or the handicaps on the part of students can be remedied out. Well, and then it should cover all the areas, meaning thereby that evaluation in English should cover all the areas of subject matter, and thus there is proper weightage should be there for testing the knowledge of textbook, grammar, vocabulary and composition in the uniform way. Means not is only the one segment but all segments supposed to be covered, that is language as well as the literature portions should be covered nicely. And then combination of all type of questions supposed to be set within the examination pattern, so that there should be a fair combination of essay type questions, short answer type questions, and then objective type, and sort of the proportions that we suppose that the long answer type questions or the objective type question supposed to be 20 to 30% portions should cover the syllabus. Okay, this type of question in the whole paper or the examination or the test, and then the short answer type question supposed to be distributed within the range of 30 to 40%, while essay or the long answer type questions supposed to be up to 40%, so that overall personality, that is his knowledge levels, his reasoning level, his creativity levels, and then the understanding level could be assessed nicely. So well, next we talk about that basically while evaluating the student, we supposed to throughout the year we assess the students on the basis of formative and summative assessment. So what is this formative assessment? Formative assessment is a range of formal and informal assessment procedures employed by teachers during the learning process in order to modify teaching and learning activities to improve students' attainment. So this is formative assessment is a regular process. It is continuous. We go for teaching and then we test student, we assess them giving the test, okay. And then at the same times, this summative assessment refers to the assessment of learning that sums or summarizes the development of students at a particular time. It is a process of assessing and grading or ranking on the learning of students at a point of time. So summative assessment is done at the end of the term. Once we finish the portions like half years exams or like the annual exams, so these are covered under the summative assessment, and making sure that while in case of formative assessment, we just it is the form, it make the form the things, we just assess the students of the syllabus, or sorry, of for how much we have just taught the students, we regularly assess that. But in case of summative assessment, it is at the end of the session or in the middle of that we will evaluate that how much students, we just collect the data, we just judge them and then make a decision or promote the students to the next class. Well, so how we just evaluation, how this the things got to be done, what are the basic topic of ours, that is the tools and techniques. So these are the basic things that we're supposed to apply while delivering the language or the content to the students. So the formative assessment tools, with the help of which we're supposed to assess the students, and we use these tools to to assess the students and then just check about their ratings, that how much they know the content and how much sort of where and they like where there is a lagging in their content, and that's supposed to be remedied out. So the sort of tools that we got been questions, they are the questions. So the questions are the first and the foremost tools that got to be used in most of the times. We ask questions, we set questions in the tests, and then in the final exams they have got to be the objective type questions, they have got to be short answer type, they got to be the then a long answer type or the essay type questions. So these are the questions basically, which is the very first of the prime tools. Then there is schedules. Okay, we set a schedules, and then according to that we used to assess the students what sort of his teaching habits, his learning habits got to be theirs. And then there is checklist, then there is total records, tests and inventories, observation, we observe the students, we have the interviews, and then there is a rating scales. So we can have the rating scales on which basis, okay, we're supposed to judge the students, his interest and attitude supposed to be analyzed to the rating scales. And then there is document analysis, and then last of all got the portfolio, that is the document sort of this is to be there that we documentize the things, and portfolio is the document in which the students whole documentation, that is the sort of study that he used to do is theirs, and the teacher can have an idea okay, what the students is going through in his life and what sort of help he is supposed to require. So these are the tools that is meant for the formative assessment. Then the formative assessment techniques, the other ones that we got over, those were the tools, and now these are the techniques. So with the help of these techniques, we are supposed to assess the students learning, how much they have learned. So examination is the first techniques, then there are quizzes and competitions, there are group discussions, there are the experiments and research, we give them the assignments, we give them the projects, and then we give there are the debates and declamation competitions through with the help of which we can assess them. Then there are club activities. So all these techniques, that is examination, quizzes and competition, group discussions, experiments and research, assignments, that most of us just know, we're supposed to give them the same projects just to analyze their understanding. And at the same time, summative assessment, how we assess the summative, that is after the end of the term or the sessions. So most of the tools and techniques that we used to assess the summative is the objective type question, short answer questions and long answer questions. So these are the tools and techniques that we use in the assessment of the summative assignments. So that is how we judge the students. So these are the tools and techniques basically that we use, and then we will just take them in detail. Well, first of all, let's check out what is a test, and then what is examination. So test, as all of us know, a test is a device with the help of which a teacher wants to find out what the children have grasped, what he has taught them. So the test, generally we used to test the students, they say oral test, written test and the like. And examination, on the other hand, refers to a formal set piece kind of assessment techniques, and then generally examination takes place after the term, that is midterm examination or the annual exams, and it is supposed to have a time span approximately 2 to 3 hours, generally 3 hours durations in our government schools that we used to have. So these are the basic things, and then we will just move ahead that how we just use this CCE to evaluate the terms. So first of all, we will discuss about the scholastic achievements, that what sort of the idea got to be there, how we evaluate the scholastic achievement of the child. For this we have the written examination, and then we have the oral test. So in the written examinations, again the same things, we used to set up the essay type questions, short answer questions and objective type questions that we done early, and the basic ratio of that got to be fixed. That is means essay type, again the sort of questions combination that we're supposed to know, we have already done. That is supposed to be approximately 40% questions supposed to be set on the essay types, and then 20 to 30% are supposed to be objective type questions, and then 30 to 40% supposed to be short answer type questions. In this combination of this, we can test and evaluate the students' performance in the scholastic area. Then in the oral test examinations, why the oral test? Because generally out of the 4 skills in case of language learning, only if you just see in the written examination, that is the 4 skills, that is the writing skills supposed to be evaluated nicely, but there is a lag on the part of the first 3 skills, that is listening, speaking and writing. And in oral tests are we supposed to evaluate or we supposed to work out that how the students got to be mastery of these 3 skills, they got to be happen in that. So in oral tests, basically what basically is oral test? So the oral test got to be nothing but that used to be the oral, and in that we used to check the students pronunciation, speed and accuracy of reading a book, comprehension and his verbal expression, how nicely he can express himself, how nicely he's supposed to communicate, and then nicely reciting a poem, answering questions. So these are the things that are supposed to be checked out in the oral tests. Well, then we just move on to the evaluation of co-scholastic. The scholastic, that is the academic side, and now we check out the co-scholastic activity, that is the other activities that students used to think about how to judge over that. So for that we do the sessional work. So in case of the sessional work, what is theirs? We just give them the home assignment, and then the sessional work students used to carry the equal importance. And then how about the students? He used how nicely he is going to moving to the library. He used the other books than the textbooks over the years. And then in the sessional works, sort of group discussions, whether he participate or not over the years, and then in the class discussions, actually what is the involvement of a child. All these sessional works supposed to be taken into account. And then the practice in language laboratory. If we have one in schools, so then how much time he devote in the language laboratory. So that is the sessional works. On the basis of that can be evaluated nicely. The second one is personal development. So just to check out his personal development, that how nicely he's doing, what is his performance, and on the other things, okay, nicely what sort of other areas he got to be interested. So for that reasons we're supposed to have the pupils diary. We can check out that and ask student, okay, that he's supposed to maintain a pupil diary, and in that we can have the idea, okay, and check out that what is his daily routine and how nicely he take part in other activities, involved in other activities. And then this is the next got to be teacher diary. In teacher diary, the teacher is supposed to note down all the activities, that is there is a this enrollment of all the students, and sort of observations that we got about the personality of the students can be jotted down in the teacher diary. And then the personality test, teacher can give the personality test to the students to check out his if there is lagging, okay, there is any lagging on the part of the personality of the students, so that can be revealed out at the earliest. So the next is social development of the people. Well, social development of the pupils is going to be there, that how much the child is participation in the games and activity, okay, sports and the other things in the schools. And then the sort of social services he got to involve, how nicely he's socially interactive, okay, not to be isolated, not to be introvert, but just got to be mixed up with the easily with the other students in the school. And then whether he got the cleanliness habits, okay, use proper dress, then having okay uniform has got to be neat and tidy, and then throughout his surrounding not to litter out the surroundings. Well, and then the next one is participation in co-curricular activities, whether the child is participating in co-curricular activities or not with theirs can also be taken into account for the co-scholarist area. And then the next one is the physical development. So just to check out for the physical development, here on the services of the health officers, they're supposed to be required in school, and the teacher supposed to manage in the nearby area if there is any health department. So the services of that health personnel supposed to be asked for. And then the physical medical test. So this is the physical medical test supposed to be there, that a doctor arrangement should be made for the physical test after every 3 or 4 months in the school, as the situation requires. That if it is got to be possible, then we can manage that. And then record of medical tests. So then record if the sort of medical, there is some sort of deficiency on the part of student, and there is some, so the necessary help may be provided to the student, so that he don't lag in studies and the other area, so that there is no hampers on this part of the lagging on the part of the personality of the students. So first of all, okay, we just come to the last time's oral test. So basically what in oral test we used to do in oral tests, basically it is the sort of test the things that we supposed to assess in oral tests is the skills of listening, skills of reading, and skills of speaking. So this listening comprehension that the students used to hear the teacher ask the questions and then he is responding nicely. Then the content comprehension, you just give a paragraph and set out certain questions from that, and how nicely the students can do. So then that is the content comprehension. And the reading comprehensions, okay, there is the reading comprehension that you just give a paragraph for the reading, and then how nicely you can ask out the questions so that the students can elaborate the things. And then speaking ability, so this is the interactive area with the students. And speaking ability, the teacher is supposed to encourage the students that he or she, okay, indulge in the interactive speak, especially in the English class, because English being a second language. And then this is the very drawback in case of the government schools, that these oral tests are no more of theirs, and the more emphasis remain on the that is the writing ability in schools. So well, next we just move on to the written tests. So the written tests got to be nothing but this is called the paper and pencils, and especially in government schools our more emphasis just always remain on the writing and writings. So this paper and pencil, and a test may be set to test people's command on various aspects of language like vocabulary item, spelling, structures, word order, general writing ability, etc. So then these are the things that we're supposed to assess within the student's scenario. And in the written test, that is generally the part of the summative examination, but also in formative tests we used to have all those written tests, the class test and the likely. So here is the first in the written test we used to have the essay type questions. So these essay type questions, they require long answers. The teacher judges the result from the expression and writing of the students. These tests encourage cramming, proper marking not possible, and luck plays a prominent role in this type of test. Yet these tests judge the power of reasoning, originality and imagination. So although because the students got to be free to just pour out his imaginations, and then there is totally a bit of disparity in this type of question, that the marking level will differ from teacher to teacher, and that's why the questions are always subjective only, and objectivity got to be lost in this type of questions. So the next is short answer type questions. Short answer type questions call for precision and brevity in the use of language and sentence constructions, and hence can be used to cover a wide range of topics in the language. So short answer type got the ability or the edge over as compared to the long answer type questions. Here there is a precision. Okay, the teacher got to make it fixed that you're supposed to write in 5 lines, 10 lines, or this much word. So that is the important part. And the one important point is that most of the syllabus we can cover the syllabus nicely, and this on the part of students also, he or she is supposed to study the whole lot of the things, not for going for the definite questions. And then objective type, and the next category is objective type tests. Here these tests were introduced to reduce the shortcomings of the essay type test and oral test. So just to do away with that of the long answer type question and the oral test, so we introduced a new term, so okay, that was the objective type test. And as you know, in the present scenario, most of the competitive examination, objective type test remains the main remain in the main limelight. And then they test different kinds of attainments. So in case of the objective type test, as we just know that these very tests, they used to test the vocabulary. There might be vocabulary tests, spelling tests, comprehension tests, grammar tests, and tests in giving answer. More often the examiner are required only to put some mark at the right alternative out of the several given in the test. So then this is the fixed choice, and objective type question means the objectivity of the content matter is tested here, and then students supposed to be thorough on study the content if she or she is supposed to get through the examination. So that is the edge in case of the objective type test, besides certain drawbacks. So but these are okay to test the ability requiring the learning. And then in case of the yours objective type test, the sort of questions that we put on got to be there called types, simply called comprehensions and these types. And then there are the questions like recognition type, then multiple choices and matching, alternate responses, and like others, many more. So this sort of question is supposed to be there, which cover most of the syllabus that we use in case of the examinations, especially at the summative as well as the formative assessment. Well, so the sort of things that we have done up to now, there's that certain things that we used to have earlier. We have certain assessment tools and techniques. So the last time we have just have a bit idea of that. Here are certain tools and techniques, the brief idea of which we will discuss individually. So the first one is the questions, as we just done over earlier, that questions are there. Okay, and then making sure that in the questions that we have just done over there are the short answer questions, long answer type questions, and then objective type questions. So these are the basic, and they used to assess the overall content of the students. Well, then the second one is observation. And in case of observations, we used to collect informations about a child, his behavior in nature setting, in and outside the class, through observation of students during activities and tasks. So it is the duty of the teacher to observe the students when he's in the classroom, is outside in the campus, how he's interacting with his peer fellows, and then what is his behavior and all these things. So these are in the, and can note down these observations in his teacher's diary. And then the next is assignment. So assignments, okay, it is a task to be done as classwork or homework that can be open-ended or structure-based on a theme, context, or say textbooks. So these are the assignment, and on the basis of this, also the teacher can evaluate the students that whether he's moving a bit ahead, he's doing things on his own, there's creativity on the part of his, or he just mugging up the things from here and there. So that is through the assignment also we can judge the students behavior and his overall personality. Then there is aptitude test, and aptitude test, well, it's a test to discover and measure the potential of an individual for specific abilities and skill such as music, science, medicine, teaching, graphic arts, etc. So these are the tests, okay, and the teacher is the best judge in the school, and he can actually once he watch out any of the interest on the part of whether the students got to be having edge over other, whether he's interested in the music, he's interested in doing the scientific things, okay, in medicines, and like to serve the peoples and teachings, so on this and the graphic arts. So teacher can evaluate these things and can act as a counselor, okay, and just lead the students in the same field. The next one is portfolio. And what is portfolio? Portfolio, it's the collection of evidences of students' work over a long period of time. So in the portfolio of the students, especially in government schools also, I think that at the elementary levels generally they used to introduce the things, and most of the documentations what sort of activities students used to do, those are okay, they have a portfolio or sort of a file prepared, and in that all these activities, all the best things that he used to do. And in the student's portfolio we can have the sort of things that is going to be happening in his life, whether something good he has done or some sort of he behaved in sort of mischievous things. So all these things got to be we can have a glimpse in his portfolio. Well, and then quizzes and competition. So we organizes quizzes and competition in schools, and check out this kind of assessment usually done out to be joyful beside testing the knowledge of the participants, and it helps in building collaboration and teamwork in the group events. So through this quizzes and competition that we organize in school, we can judge or we can test that which child participate more in the quizzes or the competition, okay, and got to be in the on the forefront, and who got to be shying away from that. So it is a duty of teacher to encourage the child, others, okay, who are just lagging a bit of that, to participate in the competitions and the quizzes. And I do hope that this much that we just done about this continuous and comprehensive evaluation, and making sure that you could understand the things that sort of tools and techniques that we use to test or assess the student's personality by using the tools and techniques in case of the continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Thank you.